Hey guys, what's up? It's your LinkedIn homie, Tim Queen. Now today I'm going to show you something really exciting. I'll be showing you how to establish yourself as an expert on LinkedIn. Thought leadership on LinkedIn is often misunderstood. Many people believe they can simply talk about industry news and will instantly be perceived as an expert on LinkedIn. But in reality, we need to establish your authority first. So let's delve into the concept of public perception for a moment. In other words, let's talk about you. Now, you don't actually exist. Or more precisely, there isn't just one you. There are many different interpretations of you. On one side, we have the real you, your authentic identity with all of your knowledge and abilities. And on the other hand, we have the public you. This is how other people perceive you. Since every person is unique, there are hundreds, thousands, and potentially millions of interpretations of who you are. Each of these versions exists solely in someone else's mind. This includes what people believe about you, how much they think you know, what values do you believe in, what you're capable of, and their overall perception of you. In essence, your public you is a collective illusion created by others that has little to no resemblance to your authentic self. But here is the good news. You can influence how other people perceive you. Now, when someone doesn't know you, you're just a blank sheet of paper to them. Essentially, big unknown their minds know nothing about. You may wonder, how does knowing nothing about you affect your thought leadership on LinkedIn? Well, let's take a look. Imagine a blank sheet of paper in front of you. Now let's write something on it. Did you know that the human body is made of 2 times 10 to the power of 28 protons? The question is, do you trust me? Is this number a fact, or did I make it all up? Well, let's try that again. But this time I'm going to still write the same sentence. However, I'm going to write it on page 27 of a 30-page scientific essay. Now, what did this accomplish? Do you trust the statement more now? Are you more convinced that it's true? The answer is, of course, yes. The question is why? Well, it's because I wrote 26 pages that establish my authority as the subject matter expert, and I also provide the entire science and the math behind the number first. After doing all of this, the number suddenly makes perfect sense. And this is the exact method that we are going to use to establish your thought leadership on LinkedIn. To give you a practical example, let's talk about me, or rather, your idea of me. Now, one of my areas of expertise is cybersecurity, also known as information security. And for the sake of this video, I'm going to assume that you know nothing about cybersecurity, so I can give you a quick tour so everyone is on the same page. So to get started, let's have a look over here. At the top, we have the broadest of broad category, which is technology as a whole. And then one of the subsets of technology is called information technology, or IT as most people know it. And then within information technology, we have another information-related category which deals with protecting that information security, also known as cybersecurity. So we have technology, information technology, and then information security. Now, if I want to be recognized as a thought leader on LinkedIn for information security, I have to apply the same logic of building my authority first. This means I must deconstruct the topic of cybersecurity into its individual subcategories first. One of these subcategories is called identity and access management. This particular category deals with determining who has access to specific information, as well as verifying and managing identities and permissions. Now, this is also a very broad category, so let me deconstruct this even more and look at some of the sub-branches. One of them is called access control. It's the technical implementation that determines who is allowed to access digital resources and what actions they can perform. It has 3 core components: identification, authentication, and authorization. So what does each of these categories do? Well, let's start with the first one, identification. Here you make a claim about your identity, for example, by stating your name. or perhaps entering a username or an email address into a login form. For example, imagine attending a red carpet event and introducing yourself to the doorman. Hi, I'm Tim Queen. Next, we have authentication. Here you prove your identity, for instance, by handing over your ID, typing in a password, using multi-factor authentication, or activating your passkey. Back at the red carpet event, the doorman might ask you for your ID. You hand over your driver license or passport. The doorman then compares your photo with your face and verifies that you are who you say you are. Lastly, we have authorization. Here the question is, are you allowed to do what you want to do? In our example, you want to attend the event. So the doorman checks if your verified name is on the guest list. Quick look up later, the doorman opens the rope and guides you through the door. Time for another summary so we don't lose track. We started with technology, information technology, information security, identity and access management, then access control, and lastly, identification, authentication, and authorization. Don't worry, we are almost there. Now let's take a look at our deconstruction of cybersecurity and how to apply this to the concept of LinkedIn thought leadership. We never want to start at the top. Instead, we want to start at the bottom. Cybersecurity as a whole is way too broad. It's much better to focus on becoming a thought leader in smaller, more specific areas such as passwords, multi-factor authentication, and passkeys. These lower-level topics are smaller and more manageable, which makes it easier to establish yourself as a micro-expert and micro-thought leader within that specific subcategory. And as you gradually accumulate more micro-credentials, you work your way up to the knowledge graph. And then turn by turn, you are recognized as an expert and thought leader in broader and broader categories. For instance, in my example, once I have established myself as an expert in passwords, multi-factor authentication, and passkeys, people will naturally assume I'm an expert in access control, and later a subject matter expert in identity and access management. Now, the beauty of this method is that you don't have to hyper-focus on a single branch for the next 3 months. I'm not doing this myself either. What you want to do is you want to define 5 to 10 of the most important content categories, and these categories should have the highest potential of positively impacting your ideal audience. After identifying these, you want to rotate through these content clusters, tackling one topic at a time. By doing this, you are slowly working your way up multiple branches at the same time. Ultimately, all you need to do is to show up consistently every day for the next 3 to 12 months to be recognized as an expert in your field. Sounds doable? Want to give it a try? Then you will be delighted to know that I'm going to show you exactly how to do it. Over the next 3 videos, I will create 3 pieces of LinkedIn content about passwords, multi-factor authentication, and passkeys. You will follow along, look over my shoulder, hear me think out loud. We'll start from the brainstorming session and outlining the content from the idea stage, then all the way through the content creation itself, and finally sharing the post on LinkedIn. Now, how can you get access to these 3 videos? First, I recommend that you subscribe. And if you haven't done so already, hit the notification bell. You can also like this video and write a nice comment below to let me know that you're excited about the upcoming videos. It's completely free and doesn't cost anything, and it helps the algorithm also let YouTube know what you enjoy the most, so YouTube will recommend my upcoming videos in your homepage newsfeed. You can also download my free LinkedIn hashtag guide and join my email list. This way you will receive email updates when I upload my next YouTube videos. If you don't want to wait that long, you can also sign up for my LinkedIn Accelerator program. It provides you with an entire blueprint of how to create a super effective LinkedIn content strategy from A to Z. Links are in the description and in the pinned comment below. And that's it for today. Remember to leave any questions in the comments, and I see you in the next one. Bye.